Ooh, look at my banner. Beautiful. Hello. Hello, lovely people. Are there people? I don't know. Maybe there will be. I'm just going to post a little link on Facebook. See if anyone shows up. And then I'm going to mute this. Holy crap. All right. So, I'm still, suffering from serious lack of Shakespeare in my life. It has now been approximately 3 weeks since my last Shakespearing. I'd keep track if I could, but it's hard, So I figure so I just had a bunch of auditions that required contemporary monologues. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know any of those. So I learned one. I did the auditions, and now it's over. And the whole time I'm learning this contemporary monologue, which was the piece from Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, I was just thinking about, learning a Shakespeare piece. Because, literally, guys, I have a problem. Okay. So, now that that's over, I decided I'm going to just pick a random monologue, and I'm going to just analyze it. I don't even know if I'm going to learn it. Maybe. It's possible. I feel like this might be a fun one to kind of have in my back pocket just to yell at people on the street. But, no, I just want to look at some verse right now and just be a nerd about it. And so what I picked was from one of Shakespeare's most well-known plays, Measure for Measure. Yeah, it's not that well known. It's very not well known unless you're, I guess, kind of a nerd about it. So a quick overview of this play is that there is what is he? Is he a duke? I think he's a duke, right? Where's my... Yeah, the Duke, Vincentio, right? He's let the laws in, where are they? Shoot, I don't even remember where they are. Some bardolater I am. Someone tell me where they are. Vienna, that's where. Yep. I knew it was someplace very exotic. Vienna. So they're in Vienna, this Duke, and he's over the last, 15 years or so, he's let the laws just kind of lapse. One of the laws that he has kind of just let go by the wayside is this law that there will be no sex before marriage. It's a good one. So rather than be the bad guy and start, oh, I guess I'm going to start enforcing these laws now. Instead of doing that, he fucks off, right? And he puts this other guy in charge to be the bad guy while he goes off and, pretends he's going to be some kind of monk or something. So this guy he puts in charge, his name is Angelo. And while Angelo is in charge, he finds out that this guy, Claudio, has knocked up his fiance. They're practically married. I mean, they're engaged. To them, they're married, right? But Angelo finds out that they're expecting a child, so he arrests Claudio and sentences him to die for impregnating his fiancée. Some good stuff, right? Well, so I got distracted because someone just followed me. Thanks. So Claudio is sentenced to death, and he has a sister, though. His sister is Isabel. She has pledged herself to be a nun. So she's living chaste, you know, she doesn't have any interest in this sort of thing. She just wants to be a holy woman, right? But Claudio begs her and says, look, if you have, like, use whatever you can do, like, help me to not die. I don't want to die. Dying sucks. I have a wife. I have a child on the way. Like, don't let them kill me. Whatever you can do, do it. Please save my life. And so she does go to Angelo and she pleads with him and basically says, like, whatever, like, why are you doing this? You know, how can I save my brother? He's a good man, whatever. Angelo, being the pious man that he is, says, basically, have sex with me and yeah, I'll save your brother if you do me. Right? Okay. So Angelo, we kind of start to get this idea, right? He's not the good guy of the piece, you see. He's a bit of a villain. Oh, how fitting. This play is so freaking relevant. It just, it kills me. It's just so real. It's crazy. So this monologue that I've picked, it's a fairly short one. I don't even know how many lines it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 lines. Okay, pretty fairly short monologue. And I honestly don't know why I picked this one. I'm fascinated by Angelo as a character because he's so messed up and wrong. He's trying so hard to be what he's supposed to be, in that he's trying to basically run this country, which he admits at the start he's not qualified to do. But the Duke has put him in this position, and so he's trying his best. But at the same time, he is a human. And when he sees something that he wants to go after it. He wants to try to get it. And in those days, women were things that men wanted. Right? So he sees this pretty young thing come in, and he has this power over her that he can say, look, I'm running this city right now. Like, do me. Yeah? And ultimately, she says, like, what, are you crazy? Whatever. I'm gonna tell everyone that you're doing this. I'm gonna let them know what you're up to. Actually, her line, I'm just gonna cold read it. We'll see if it makes sense. Ha! Little honor to be much believed, and most pernicious purpose. Seeming, I will proclaim thee, Angelo, look for it. Sign me a present pardon for my brother, or with an outstretched throat, I'll tell the world aloud what man thou art. Okay, so she says, look, just pardon my brother, or I'm going to tell everyone what you are. With outstretched throat. I love that. That's powerful. Like, she doesn't care if she dies at that point. Like, she's exposed. Oh, that's good. Isabel, getting it. Okay, so the monologue that I've picked is the one that immediately follows this. So the cue line for this monologue is, "Sign me a present pardon for my brother, or with an outstretched throat I'll tell the world aloud what man thou art." Which then is followed by, "Who will believe thee, Isabel? My unsoiled name, the austereness of my life, my vouch against you, and my place in the state will so your accusation overweigh that you shall stifle in your own report and smell of calumny. I have begun, and now I give my sensual race the rein. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. Lay by all nicety and prolixious, I'm gonna have to look up that word real quick, blushes, that banish what they sue for. Redeem thy brother by yielding up thy body to my will, or else he must not only die the death, but thy unkindness shall his death draw out to lingering sufferance. Answer me tomorrow, or, by the affection that now guides me most, I'll prove a tyrant to him. As for you, say what you can. My false overweighs your true." Okay. So that's a lot of words. A couple of them I'm going to have to make sure I understand the meaning of. Y'all, this is early modern English, right? This is modern English. However, there are some archaic words that maybe we don't use so much anymore. For instance, calumny, which I believe, I'm going to double check, but I think that's like defamation, I guess. Yeah, so slander. Calumny, slander. And then what's this other one that I cannot even spell? Prolixious. Adjective, long-winded and drawn out. Ooh, okay. If you've ever heard the word or used the word prolixious, not in this play, please tell me when and where you heard it, because that fascinates me. Okay, so I think those were the only two words that I wasn't super familiar with. Yeah, I call that a win. You know, 2 words out of all of those, out of 17 lines that I had to look up. That's a win for me. Okay. So I like to, if there's a word that I just absolutely didn't know at all to begin with, I like to just make a little note. Maybe, look, the what's this? iOS doesn't even know what prolixious is. So I just like to make a note over in the margin somewhere. How do you spell it? IOUS. What do we say? Drawn out. And then I'll make a little reminder for calumny. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and give him an underline. Where's calumny? Shoop. Sweet. So now green, I guess, for this particular thing is words I didn't know. Okay. So first thing, now that I've looked up the words, that like actual words I didn't know, I'm going to go through and just actually write what each line actually means. I'm going to put it in not modern English, because like I said, this is modern English. I'm putting it in Saki colloquialisms. So I'm going to use purple because that's my color. Who will believe thee, Isabel? That's just, I mean, I would say that, I've probably said that. Who's going to believe you? Cool. My unsoiled name, the austereness of my life. So to me, this is, I have a perfect reputation. Austereness, he lives basically as a holy man. That's how I feel. Because when I think of someone who lives an austere life, a bare bones life, I think of like monks. I think of holy men, right? So my unsoiled name, my clean name, and my clean reputation, and my holy life. My vouch against you and my place in the state. My vouch against you. So I have this perfect name. I live this holy life. So whatever I say against you, plus my position as leader, I'm in charge of Vienna right now. Are you serious? I own this place. Okay. So I don't even, yeah, my vouch against you. My word against yours. And my, what do you call that? Rank, maybe? Ugh. Will sow your accusation over way. Will be just more powerful than your accusation. That you shall stifle in your own report. This one, I feel like, is a little more challenging to kind of interpret into Saki-E's. That you shall stifle in your own report. That let's see if the book has anything. Sometimes if I come across something that, like, I know what it means, I get the feeling of what it means, but I can't really put it into my own words. I like to, if you have the Arden, you definitely want the Arden. This is not the Arden. This is World's Classics. I do not have the Arden for measure yet. But you've got footnotes in here. So I like to check the footnotes for any clues. Which this is, I don't know what line this is. 159. Oh, this says, okay. This says in line 59, you will be smothered by your own story, and your reputation as a slanderer will stink. That's an interesting interpretation of it. But yeah, so you're going to overwhelm yourself trying to outweigh my report of you. Yeah. So let's just interpret that entire sentence. My vouch against you and my place in the state will sow your accusation over way, that you shall stifle in your own report and smell of calumny. Now that is a mouthful. My word against yours and my rank will be more powerful than your accusation, so that you will overpower yourself with that everyone will know that you are lying. Cool. I have begun, and now I will give my sensual race the rein. I have begun. What have you begun? To what? What have you begun? Again, I turn to the professionals. 161. Okay. Here are I'm just going to read out loud and we'll discover together. 161, give rain. So, race as natural or inherited disposition, but this is a rare usage, and give the rein, allow a horse to run uncontrolled, suggests that race could mean the act of riding rapidly on horseback. Which is quite the image, right? When someone's asking you to have sex with them. I know I really like to imagine riding on a horseback. Shakespeare, you nasty gentleman. Okay, I have begun and now give my sensual race the rein. I think, to me, this is saying I said what I said, and now I'm doing what I feel I need or I want to do. Because he says he's given his sensual race the rein. So clearly, to me, the sensual race is now in control. So what he wants is sex. That's the sensual race. He's chasing after Isabel. That's got the rein of all of his decisions now. So I've begun. I've made my choice. No, Claudio's gonna die. And now the only thing I care about is getting laid. So I made my choice. And now all I want is to get laid. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. So for me, that just says okay, sharp appetite. I feel like is kind of hard to really interpret. It just gives me a feeling though of just being something that he wants so much that it could cut a bitch. So fit thy consent to my sharp appetite is consent to me, or I can do whatever I want. So consent, or basically it happens, I kill your brother, basically. So let's go with that. Consent, or I kill your brother. Lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes. We've already established that Isabel is going to be a nun. So she up until now has been very prudish, very genteel. And now Angelo is saying, like, get over that. Like, I have no time for your blushing and this drawn out bullcrap. I have no time for this drawn out bullcrap. Prudish bullcrap. That banish what they sue for. Oh, okay. So that wasn't the end of the sentence, is the thing. So lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes that banish what they sue for. That banish, that get rid of what they're asking for. So I feel like this is saying, yeah, you're acting like a prude, but I know either I know you want it, or you're showing me that you don't want it, therefore I can't have it. So we need to figure out who is suing, basically. Who is it that we're talking about that wants this sexual activity? And since we've already established that Angelo definitely does, we can make a choice here to say that it gets rid of what I want. It stops the process of my having sex with you. Or we could make a choice and Angelo becomes much more aware, or not even aware, accusatory, which could be an interesting choice in today's climate. Well, she was asking for it, sort of thing. And it says, like, if you play it that way, then it would be like that your blushes and your prudishness, I know you're just doing that to, like, to stop yourself, right? But I think I'm gonna play. I think I'm gonna look at this the first way, and I'm gonna say that her prudishness and her blushing gets rid of. It stops him from having sex. So, me. Should I swear? Should I drop the old F-bomb? Should I drop the old F-bomb? I will. And yeah, so this chat, very accusatory. Reading some of the later lines, it seems more of a you're saying you don't want it, but you really do want it. I agree with that. It's, like I said, it's definitely a direction you can go. I think first, and so when I'm writing down these meanings, there's nothing that says that as I go through it and speak it aloud and start to really feel the words, that it's not going to become something completely different. I just like to have a general idea of what it is. So I'm gonna start. I'll start looking at it from a very from a more like introspective kind of look to it. So I'm gonna start with that stops me from fucking you. But I am going to change colors here and make a note about the word sue, because that's, I feel like, the key word in this line that really kind of makes it either one way or the other. And there is no pronoun. So, well, there is they, but they is referring to the blushes and the nicety, not to who is suing whom. So this, people will tell you that ambiguity is like your BFF when you're doing Shakespeare. And this is one of those places where it is very ambiguous and you can just make a choice here. But I agree that some of the later lines do actually say they are really accusatory. So if you look at the script as a whole and that's the conclusion that you come to, then that is a completely valid conclusion. But then also if you come to this conclusion, that's also valid. Maybe he gets to the accusatory stuff later. Maybe at this point he's not there yet. I don't know. So my little note here is going to be, you know you want it. I wish I could, like, draw, like, little animated, like, waggly-eyed dudes. Does that even look like a little waggly-eyed dude? Don't care. Whoop. Okay. So, fit thy consent to my sharp appetite, lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes that banish what they sue for. So, consent or I kill your bro. I have no time for the drawn-out prudish bullshit that stops me from fucking you. Bang. Redeem thy brother by yielding up thy body to my will. That, again, is just... That just makes sense. So, free him from prison by giving me your body. That's not how I would say it. Okay, do this and your brother will be spared. Yes, that's what it means, but that's not how I would say it. I would get, like, real gross with it. So I'm just trying to figure out how gross I would get with it. So, yes. Overall, it does mean do this and your brother will be spared. But I like to kind of go through and do a kind of word for word interpretation, because sometimes what you'll find when watching people do Shakespeare is that you get that they understand the entire concept of what it is that they're saying, but it seems like they don't understand what each specific word really means. So I like to go through and make sure, like, yielding up thy body. I like to make sure that I put that specific thing into my own words. Because, yes, the overall meaning is, do this and your brother will be spared. But it's much more graphic. By letting me screw you, I will ensure your brother doesn't die and his death won't be extended. That's pretty good. Okay. So, by letting me screw you. That's great. Let's go with that. Winged Selkie. Are you winged or winged? I need to know. I like winged. By letting me screw you. Winged. That's right. Brilliant. By letting me screw you. Lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes that banish what they sue for. Redeem thy brother by yielding up thy body to my will. Or else, he must not only die the death... I think I'm going to put a period here, actually. To me, I feel like that's a full stop. I feel like that's... I don't know. Maybe it is a semicolon. Maybe we'll keep the semicolon. We're almost to the complete thought. Or else he must not only die the death, or else he's not just gonna die. But your prudishness, your rudeness to me will make his death even longer. To lingering sufferance. But thy unkindness shall his death draw out to lingering sufferance. So actually, we'll make his death, what's the word? Not just extended, but we've got lingering sufferance. We've got extended, suffering, I guess. Let's go with torture. I'm more likely to say torture than I am suffering. Answer me tomorrow. Well, that needs no interpretation. Or, by the affection that now guides me most, I'll prove a tyrant to him. Or, by the affection, or by the love that that pushes me, I'll use my power over him. But here again, I'm gonna consult and see what they say about affection, because affection usually means love in our colloquial language, but I think affection, affect, right? So something affects you. So it's not, I don't think it's love. It's more like the mood, I guess, the way that you're affecting me now will cause me to be an asshole and murder him slowly. Let's see what it is. Ooh, breaking my house. Line 169. Yes. The affection that now guides me most. The mood I am in at the moment. Okay. So yeah. Love is my initial thought, but it to me, it didn't make sense to be talking about love here. There's nothing, he's not guided by any kind of love. So my initial reaction to the word affection probably wasn't right. So I'm gonna trust the book, and I'm gonna trust my second instinct that the way you are making me feel right now means I'm gonna fuck your boy up. The act or process of affecting or being affected. That is some dictionary BS right there. You can't, the thing is, you can't, I feel like there should be laws against this. You can't define a word by using the actual word in the definition. How does that work? Man. Anyway, how his emotions are driving him to act, not love. Yeah, dictionary.com. I see that. Driving him to act, not love, but other emotions. Yes, agreed. Definitely not love. I don't think love has anything to do with it. It's just one of those words, affection, that, again, it is modern English, but it's early modern English. We've kind of stopped using this word in this way. Colloquially, affection just talks about love. But here it's definitely talking about the mood. Or by how you make me feel, basically, or by the emotion that pushes me now. There we go. I'll prove a tyrant to him. I'll use my power over him. So your choices are, I use my power over you, or like I use my power over him. And really there's no choice here. She's always losing. She's in a lose-lose right now, Isabel. If she doesn't do it, her brother dies. If she does do it, her soul dies. So he gets to use, Angelo gets to use his power either way. For him, win-win. For her, lose-lose. I think that's part of what makes this particular speech a good one. Yeah, it's forcing her to choose the lesser of two evils. And it's even more than that. It's forcing her to choose whether she cares more about herself or her brother. And if she cares more about herself, then she's not a good nun. So if she picks saving her brother, it makes her a bad nun. If she picks not having sex and her brother dying, it's like, yeah, it's a terrible. There is no lesser of these two evils, I think. Either way, she's screwed. So by the emotion that pushes me now, I'll torture him. As for you, say what you can. My false or ways your true. So if she's willing to sell her body to save her brother, which makes her a bad nun, but if she picks her brother's death, yes, exactly. So one way she does it, she's bad in the eyes of God, and the other choice she makes, she's bad in the eyes of family, of society. Either way, she's in the eyes of society, she's done for, I guess. As for you, say what you can. My false or ways your true. This, I feel like, is the most telling line in the whole thing. I feel like this says more about Angelo than anything else that he's said in this entire speech. So basically, this is, say whatever you want about me. My lies are stronger than your truth. He knows he's lying. He knows he is full of crap. He knows. And he doesn't care. He's straight up doesn't care. So, as for you, do whatever the hell you want. Oh man, I cannot type. I'm not even typing. I'm writing with my hands and I cannot do it. Do whatever you want. My lies. See, what is this? Are bigger than your truths. Whew. All right. So that wasn't terrible, right? Just putting the speech into my own words. I don't know how long that took. How long did that take? I've been live for 42 minutes. It might have taken a while. But that's usually my first step when doing any piece, really, because like I can pick up She Kills Monsters right here. And I can see that I don't speak this way. So I might have to put some of this into my own words too. But especially for Shakespeare, when there are words like affection and calumny and prolixious that we just don't use on the reg, it's definitely really important to put it into your own words. And also for grammars that we might have let go. These and thys. Also, like, punctuation a lot of times doesn't make sense. Yeah, so it's definitely a good first step to just figure out what does it mean. Right. Thank you, Winged Selkie. Have a good evening. Cheers. So my next thing, maybe I'll save it. I feel like 40 minutes is quite long enough to listen to me. So I will pick up with my next step. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. Maybe Wednesday. I have sword fighting on Wednesdays, so it may be late on Wednesday if I do Wednesday. But I have a meeting tomorrow at 7, so I don't know. I'm going to try for tomorrow, though. I'm going to try and wrap up that meeting really quick and show you my next step, which is scansion, which is just looking at the rhythm of all the words that are in the speech. That there was no rhythm to that. Cheers. So I guess I will tonight leave you with just an overview, just a little reminder of my first step is I read Shakespeare's words. I don't care if they make sense. I just read them out loud. I read them. How do they feel when I say them? What do they make me think of? And then I look up the words that I don't know. I like to write a little definition of the words that I don't know. And then I translate every line really thought by thought into Saki-ese. And that is my step 1. Step 2, which we will do later, scansion. So, here's to the work.